I'm Ava, the co-editor-in-chief of Highlights. Today we're doing our first ever teacher spotlight combined with KBEV and our publication Highlights with Mr. Van Rossum, our AP Euro and World History teacher. So, how are you today?
I'm doing all right, Ava. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Good seeing you after...
You too. It's been a couple of years.
It's been, but you know.
It's funny how time flies.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to start with our first question.
Okay, I'm ready.
So speaking of AP Euro,
Yes.
I remember distinctly sitting in your class about the first week, and you said you're trying to ease us because it was a rigorous AP class.
Yeah, you guys are
right?
sophomores, you know, the first experience with an AP class.
And so you mentioned not being the best student in high school. And
I
so
wasn't, actually,
I think
yeah.
that's pretty ironic. How'd you end up being a high school teacher now?
If you told me in high school I'd be a high school teacher, yeah, I would have never believed it. I kind of didn't take advantage of what was there. I actually didn't like high school much at all. So to end up here is kind of funny, but I kind of had to grow up a little bit. And once I got out and worked, I realized how, it sounds kind of funny, but how awesome being a student can be. And I had an opportunity to go back to school, and I really liked it compared to the working world. And I thought to myself, to be a teacher, you're dealing with ideas. It's a really cool kind of relationship-based job or career, and it just spoke to me, and I love it. Plus you get summers off, so it's a good thing too.
And so you mentioned you love it, which is I being your student, I see it's reflected in your class. But are you aware of what things do you hear about your class that other students say?
If I'm doing my job and I'm throwing out there what I hope kids would pick up on, it would be that it's tough, but we had fun. So at the end of the day, if they can say it's really, rigorous in that academic sense, but you got to laugh about something at least once a class period, and this idea that we can be sort of casual but serious. And I think I want kids to come to my class. I want to have fun. It's no fun if I can't tease a kid or they can't tease me back.
And speaking of teasing, sort of what's been your funniest memory that you've had?
Oh, geez. I'm really bad at those kind of questions. I'm on my 25th year of teaching, so the brain cells aren't quite as quick as they used to be. But every year you develop sort of a relationship with a class. It's kind of like you'll have 15, 20, 25, 30 kids, and they become like a singular personality. And I remember when you were in my class, you and I remember teasing Harrison Stone relentlessly. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was fun.
Behind my seat.
Yes, exactly. I had a lot of fun. I hope I didn't send him into therapy, but it was a good time.
Yeah. So speaking of memories from our class especially, I remember your infatuation with music really distinctly, and do you want to maybe describe where that's come from and
Well, I have this. Cars, motorcycles, and rock music trivia are things I remember. If it has anything to do with making money, I quickly forget it. Or if it's useful, But for some reason, I always associated music with like time periods where I was at a particular moment in my life, or as I said, a time and place. And I can remember really random things about, it has to be rock trivia. I've kind of lost track as I'm getting older. It's like, kids these days, the hip hop and rap, I'm not good at, but basic, if it's got guitars and drums, I'm in.
All right, and so shifting gears a little bit.
Yeah.
It's true that is your daughter a freshman at school?
She is. She just started, this year. So it's kind of unusual having, my wife left. She went down to BV and as a counselor there, and my daughter came in. So, and I have a son at Hawthorne too. But yeah, it's been great. It's been very low key. I don't actually see her that much during the day. Yeah,
I was going to ask, is that brought up a lot by some of your students, or is it awkward at all?
Not at all. It's been really, the kids are really cool about it. My daughter's been really cool about it. We just treat it like, she's a student, I'm a teacher, it is what it is. Right. So it actually works out quite well.
All right, and so I feel like lastly, just because we're a little short on time, if you weren't a teacher, if you weren't in this position, what would be your dream job?
I have no musical talent. I joke, the only thing I can play is the radio. I would love to either be like a well-known guitar player or a fireman. I never got over the idea, little kids love firemen, and the whole idea of, fighting fires and driving around in a shiny truck and having everybody love you and doing a good job and getting out and about. And yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool.
Having everybody love you, huh?
Yeah, you know, who doesn't like firemen, right?
Yeah, I remember I wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah, it's a cool job. So I'd say one of those two things comes to mind.
Yeah, and then one last question came to mind.
Yeah, sure thing.
What advice would you offer students who are either, you know, in the same position you were, not, you know, disliking high school, or who want to join your class despite all the things you may?
Well, the first part, if you don't like high school, it cost me time. So if I could go back and understand what the opportunities were, I was too young to really, and frankly, I wasn't mature enough to get that. And I never liked the social aspect of high school. You know, I just never felt like I really kind of fit into it. And looking back now as an adult, it's like, it doesn't matter. Be who you want to be true to yourself. Your true friends will come out that way. And yeah, have that confidence. Whatever you're into, just do it well and be confident in who you are and what you're doing. And if that makes you fit in with a lot of people, great. If it doesn't, that doesn't matter either, right? And take advantage of a lot of opportunities. Regarding the other side, if you're going to be a student, you know, I think world history is pretty straightforward. But with AP Euro, you have to be dedicated. You know, you can't just do it without committing. It's like any AP class, I think, is going to be that way. And I would hope that students would go into it not just to get the GPA. Oh, I want the enhanced GPA points. I want to get the hopefully the 5 on the exam. But try to keep an open mind about the subject matter. It's not just a means to an end. You might just learn something. And I think history, especially like European history, has a lot of lessons that make a person literate. You know, things you'll kind of carry with you going forward. You know, just if you want to figure out how a particular political process works, or what's happening in a particular state or government at a moment in time. There's always some reference to prior events that'll help you make sense of it. So to be culturally, politically, economically literate.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you for coming and doing this for us first shot.
Yep, it's a pleasure.
And so you can view this on KBEV's YouTube channel or on our website, www.beverlyhighlights.com, or our social media site. Thank you for watching.
Yep.